You hear me talking about the wonderful products of My Pillow every day. I love sharing with you. And I love the man who is responsible for this great American company. He has a wonderful story, and I'm happy to say that Mike Lindell is joining me today. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Before we get into talking about some of your great products, let's take a minute and just talk about this country that we live in. Do you just have to pinch yourself sometimes, Mike, to think about that we have Donald Trump back in the Oval Office?
Yeah, it's a miracle of all time. I worked hard, as you know, for 4 years, and fought to secure our elections and to get him back in. But I do want people to know, people don't get complacent out there that we're living a miracle right now over the next 4 years. I just was with them about 2 weeks ago at the Oval Office, and the president and I were talking, and I said, "Sir, we can't let this be in vain. We have to get our elections secure," which he wants. We all want secure elections and paper ballots hand counted. So that's what he's pushing for. And I talk to people all over the country. Doesn't matter what party you're in. People want secure elections. So that's what we're going for. But boy, look at what he's done in the last couple months here. It's been amazing.
It's hard to believe it's just been 2 months, and you look at the things that he has accomplished, and you
Yeah,
think about what's possible over the rest
yeah,
of the 4 years.
yeah. Exactly. I got a little story for him and I. We were sitting last summer, and we were both of us were sitting there in his office, and we become very pretty good friends. And he says, Mike, or I was telling him all this stuff, the bad things going on. All right, God uses all things for good.
Yeah.
And I said, they're pouring into this bucket of common sense, sir, from both sides. And as these bad things keep happening, it's opening people's eyes. And he looked at me and says, but Mike, he said, it's getting so bad. He says, I don't know if we get it fixed that in 4 years. And I said, sir, with God, all things are possible, and Him working through you, you'll get it done faster and better than anyone in history. And look what he's done. That is a miracle. It all came to fruition, and it's amazing. You just see the stuff. He came out. What I was really happy to see was a week ago. He came out with the election integrity executive order, and that was so huge. Everybody, I could spend hours telling you everything that we've done for 4 years came. A lot of it's in that package, and there's more to come. So I'm very excited because I don't want this to be in vain. I want it to be, here's where our country can go because I believe I believe we only have two parties now, not the Democrat and Republican Party. I believe we have the common sense party of Donald Trump, and then we have this uniparty deep state globalist party over here. That's what we have now, and that's where we're up again. This is a battle of evil and good of historical proportions.
Yeah. You know, it's just hard to believe sometimes. You look at what has been accomplished in these just over 2 months now, but you also look at the resistance and you look at these people who claim to be Americans, who claim to love our country, but yet they're fighting the president every step of the way. I was
Right.
with Senator Lindsey Graham yesterday. He had some big endorsements from pro life groups yesterday here in the upstate of South Carolina. And I was joking with him because he played golf with President Trump on Sunday. He and my former Congressman Trey Gowdy, they won the club championship at Trump International, and
Right.
I was joking with the senator. Well, who kept score? Uh, but we were talking about, just as you mentioned a minute ago, Mike. We can't rest. We have to keep working hard because, and right now, across the country, the Republican Party, we're in the middle of reorg. People are going to their precinct meetings, their county conventions, soon their state conventions. We have to put people in these local leadership positions who support the president and keep working towards winning him a bigger majority in both the House and the Senate next year.
Absolutely, and that comes down to um, every people's eyes getting open and to not just sit down and be complacent. Now we were complacent for a lot of years, and we've got to just now. It's woke everybody up. We've got to get out there and do that, but we also have to work from that. Just because he came out with the executive order for the election platforms working, I have over 300,000 people in all 50 states. If people want to look at that, it's lindellplan.com. You guys can check it out. We're still working from the bottom up for every county. We deal with every county. What if it was your only county to secure our election platforms? and get to where the president wants to get to, paper ballots hand counted, and one day voting. Do you know over 100 countries ban early voting and mail-in voting? I mean, these things we can't let up on our election platforms.
Yeah.
Plus, getting involved. If we at any other time in history, um, we would, I think we got, this uniparty that was out there. I believe we got complacent. We didn't understand it. And, I've been blocked so much in the last 4 years by uniparty Republicans that act like Republicans. And people need to realize those are usually taken or sold in the primaries.
Yeah.
So we've got to secure our elections over the next year before the 2026 primaries, and everybody get involved and watch for any, get involved in these primaries. And that's to me, that's a big thing. And because we can't ever go back to how horrific it was these last 4 years.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I feel like, Mike, and I think you share this feeling. I feel like God has given us another chance,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we have to seize it.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. When I did a speech, everybody, at the Rose Garden back right before the China virus in 2020, it was right before we all went into lockdown. And I was on that stage and I said, hey, God's given us grace for such a time as this. And I said, we need to spend time in the Word, God's Word, and reading the Bibles. Well, when I said that over the last 4 years, people come up to me all the time. They go, Mike, this doesn't feel like grace. This doesn't feel like grace. But God, it is grace, everybody. God has given us grace. We're in the best time to be alive. This is world changing. This is life changing. And I tell people all the time, they go, well, I prayed, and it didn't come true. And and I said, you know what? I've had to learn patience these last 4 years. It might not be God's will or God's timing. And I always say to people, well, where is God's will? God's will is in the Word. If we stay in the Word, like I do every day, you can be proactive in prayer, and then it's easier to accept these things here, these setbacks, minor setbacks, and keep moving forward, knowing that God uses all things for good for those who believe. And I believe we're in the greatest revival ever for Jesus Christ too, because of all the things that have went on. People don't look to God when things are going good. It's usually when people are going bad, things are going bad. And so, yes, I totally agree. God's given us grace for right now. This is it, everybody. We have a miracle. Joy, one of the things with my book, when I used to be a crack cocaine addict, um, I can look back now and say, well, all these things that had to happen just to get to where I'm at right now. And we got to learn from our past, everybody, and learn and correct it and move on. And that's where we're at. And we are in the best time ever to be alive. And I just um, want everybody out there to, keep the faith. We're going to get to this great place out here, and everyone's going to see all these things had to happen just the way God intended.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
If we stay in His Word, if we pray, if we talk with Him, He'll lead us in the right direction. He has the
Yep.
plan.
Mhm.
We get a little impatient at times because we
That's right.
want it to happen right away. But He has a plan, and He will guide us there. Let's talk for a minute about your walk, your faith, and your company. You
Right.
have a magnificent story, and just share with us a minute about that story, how your company came about, and how you came up with the idea of making the world's best pillow,
Yeah.
and also in how your belief and your political stance has affected that company.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I invented my pillow back in 2004. And I always used mathematics to prove that God existed. I had 14 near-death experience, all these things happening, besides being a very functioning addict and then a non-functioning addict when I got into crack cocaine and everything. So I would look at these things and go, wow, this is a 1 in a million, or this is a 1 in a billion, or this is impossible. When do you add them all together and consider it a miracle? So God was chasing me, and I would go, show me more, show me more. Well, I invented my pillow in 2004. I didn't quit crack cocaine till January 16, 2009.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's so much that happened in between, but that's the day I actually thought I was saved, because it was so different when I woke up and I'm going, wow, I prayed to God that He would release the desire for the addictions, and He did. But I was actually saved, everybody, on February 18th, 2017. That's not too long ago. And because these things kept happening to me that were impossible without God. I'll give you an example. I had never voted in my life, ever. I didn't know a Republican from a Democrat. I didn't know a filibuster from a millibuster. I knew nothing. Okay. I was a crack addict. I didn't care about politics. I didn't even think they affected me. Well, in the summer of 2016, now by then my pillow was very big. It was a miracle. My pillow was huge. We had sold, I think, 30 some million by then. By now we've sold 84 million My Pillows. But in 2016, Donald Trump reached out to me to meet with him, and I met with him August 15, 2016. I walk in and he said, "Now, Mike, whatever you do, don't tell him you are a crack addict, and whatever you do, or you won't be able to meet him alone." Well, I was alone, and one of the first things I said, "Sir, I used to be a crack addict," and I kind of looked at him like that, and I told him about this recovery network. I was going to have the Lindell Recovery Network for free for addicts. And he said, "I'm going to stop the drugs pouring in on that southern border." But the real reason he reached out to me was, how was My Pillow being made in the USA? He wanted my opinion. Here's this person just out of there was no other agenda. Anyway, I walked out of there and I asked his employees. They all said the same thing: "Great man, great boss." They all had stories that he had helped them individually. So I went back to Minnesota, and I was the media's darling, everybody. I mean, I could say I'm walking across the street. How many more addicts are you hiring? How many more veterans? Boy, you're helping every cause in this country. We're just pouring the money out for hurricane victims. Didn't matter. Well, I did a press release saying I met Donald Trump back then in August of 16, and I was attacked by every media outlet there was. It was like, I'm going, what? What did I do? What did I do? And you guys, but I'll tell you, when I was in the White House and I get invited to the White House in 2017, and I walk in there, I go, how am I even in here with my past? It was like a miracle in itself. And I go to sit down. There's like manufacturers all around. There's like 12 of us. And the president came in and he sat next to me, and it went live to the nation. And my buddies are all at home, and some of them still on drugs, whatever, going, what is this ex-crack addict sitting next to the president? Jesus is real, because this would be impossible without God.
Yeah.
And you guys, so for how many years there, we just flourished, but we were still attacked. The Better Business Bureau attacked us, took My Pillow from an A+ to an F, just because I backed this president back then. But the worst thing was when I wanted to secure our elections, and we all know that going back 4 years, the last 4 years have been absolutely, My Pillow's been the most attacked company in history. Even now, even with the president winning the election, they've turned it up. I just got served papers. They're going after my Lindell Recovery Network. We had box stores that just recently came back, and then they canceled again. And everyone says, well, why are they doing that? Well, they're doing it because they don't want me talking about securing our elections and going to paper ballots. So as we speak right now, and I'll tell this to your audience, the only way we've made it through, by the grace of God, and also for you out there that have been buying our products directly with my employee-owned company. We have all these sheets that they were going to buy that they canceled 2 weeks ago. There's over 14 colors, and all these came in. And so I said, you know what am I going to do? We're passing the savings on to you. So the queen size, which is normally $89.98, is $29.98. I mean, it's unheard of. That's what they would have paid. The king size is $34.98. And you guys use that promo code Joey. If you go to mypillow.com/Joey, they'll be right there. Or you can call 800-893-4058. You guys, we need your help on this. Once they're gone, they're gone. And all the other products, you get discounts with the best discounts ever with your promo code Joey. And I can't thank you enough and your audience for helping us get through this. I mean, it just doesn't seem to stop everybody. They're going, but remember, that's not the people out there. I can go anywhere in this country. I go in the heart of Minneapolis, where I spent so much time back in my drug days, and I can go in Chicago, wherever, and all people come up to me and they go, thanks for helping save our country. We're praying for My Pillow. We're praying for you. And those are the people. So don't everyone believe we have a divided country. Donald Trump's one of the best uniters in history. I say it all the time. Everybody loves our president. Some just don't know it yet.
Yep, exactly. Political. Let me say how much I appreciate and I thank you for the partnership. I love My Pillow. I think I have every product you've ever made,
Right
and
on.
I can comfortably encourage my listeners to purchase the products because they're great products. My
Right,
favorite, I'll have to tell you, are your towels. And
right, right
you and I
on.
have talked about this before. The towels are so soft, but yet, Mike, they're absorbent. And quite
They
often, you
absorb.
get towels and they're not absorbent.
Right. And you guys, just like every product I either invent or improve on, towels were a big one for me. When I grew up, towels dried you, they absorbed. And all of a sudden I'm going, how come towels don't work anymore? They feel like there's lotion on them or something. And well, I checked into it and it was because of in 2006, our government deals with all these other countries that they could import towels with no tariffs or nothing. So it became a free for all. And in the box stores, they started adding, these companies overseas started adding lotions and fabric softeners and oils. So you felt the towel and you go, oh, that feels nice. But you get them home and they don't absorb. So I had fun making improving on the towels. Found technology. It's a proprietary technology where the towels actually work and but they actually dry you.
Yes.
They actually dry you. There's nothing like them in the world. Those you get those two, get the promo code Joey, you guys, all of my products, every one of them, I either problem solution. What's the problem with it? How do I improve on it? And we got another one I really like are these My Pillow, these 2.0s. If you've never tried a My Pillow 2.0, you have that plus the cases. We're doing that. If you've never bought a My Pillow product before, $9.98. We're doing it and once they're gone, they're gone. I know there's like 5 different ones. The one with the hole in the flag, that's sold out this week, but we're doing that. They're commemorative. They're functional. I use it everywhere I go. Backrest, sitting on, use it in the hotel on top, airplane, it don't matter. You use this pillow. I use it more than any product I have.
Yep. Yep. Mike Lindell, it's always a pleasure. And again, as Mike said, you can go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey to get the absolute best deal. And I promise you, you're going to love the products. You know, Mike, I have a deer hunter in Northeast Georgia who's listened to my show for many, many years. He wears my slippers deer hunting every day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's another product, you guys. What was the difference of my slippers? The difference is a guy came to me one time with this thing called impact gel made with soybeans. He demoed it by putting his hand out, put the impact gel in, bam, he hit it with a hammer. I'm going, what's wrong with you? And we ended up putting him in. It took over a year and a half to develop putting in slippers. So it's like walking on a cloud. You have the My Pillow patented foam in there, plus this impact gel, and you wear them all day. They're more comfortable than shoes, and they disperse your weight. It's amazing. And so they're on sale too. Promo code Joy at mypillow.com.
Yeah. Mike, I'll continue to pray for you, and my listeners, as you said, they pray for you as well.
Thank you.
And we just want to uphold you and to support your company, this great American company, and your employees. Thank you again for the partnership, and just thank you for what you do for our country.
Thank you. And thank you all. And God bless. And everybody, keep the faith. We were going to get to this great place. It's going to get better and better and better.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey, take a minute, like and comment on today's Just the Truth. If you have a suggestion for a future edition, I'd love to hear it. If you disagree with me, I'd love to hear that as well. You can email me, joey@joeyhudson.com, and be sure and hit that subscribe button right now before you forget. Hit subscribe and join our community here on YouTube.